is it? Where is it? Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start our show. Let's do the intro, the countdown for our last minute stragglers. Go get a snack and definitely come back. It's all set up. Where you at? Where you at? It's coming. Hold on. It's coming.
Perfect. Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What's going on? What's going on to all my embracers? What's going on, guys? It's Thursday night. You know what it is. Same time, same channel. I got my two co-hosts ready to go. Last week I rode this plane solo. They had things come up, but you know what? Don't stop the show. We got to keep moving. But they ready. They came in before me. So let me just go ahead and introduce myself. For all my new embracers that know me, this is I am Grace from Embrace the Grace. I am currently streaming on the JVJ network, so please go check out the JVJ network for the other great content creators, and let's talk JVJ. But as far as for me, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, WhatsApp, Snapchat, anywhere. You got my email. You can get at me. You know, I really do appreciate to all my embracers that send me topics, that leave comments. I mean, you guys are hysterical, and I love you guys, and I love the fact that y'all embraced me, even though that my channel is an advocate for men. So if you're coming up in here disrespecting men, and especially black men, you can leave that outside the door, because I'm not having it. We don't do sign language here. No shame, insult, guilt, or the need to be right. We're here to be grown, to heal, to learn, and teach each other's different perspectives in life and our situations, so we can become better version of ourselves. So without further ado, I will introduce everybody in the order that they showed up. No order in particular. You know, because everybody showed up tonight, so we ready. We are ready. So let's go. Smitty, you were here. Introduce yourself. Let everybody know where we can find you. And then damn, I ain't seen y'all in so long. I miss y'all. Hey, I'm sending out a virtual hug to both of y'all. So Smitty, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let people know where we can find you. Then Gary, same thing for you, and we're gonna get right into it, because this is a good one tonight. It ties into everything that me and Gary and Smitty and all these other content creators have been trying to solidify. So go ahead, Smitty. What say you?
Respect. It's your boy Smitty, of course, as always. Back right up here with the lovely Miss Embrace the Grace and my homeboy Gary, right? You can find me at County King at IG, all right? Type in County with a K, no spaces. Very simple. You can also find me on Smitty's Corner. And other than that, I digress. My mic is muted. Let's go ahead and get to this show. Rock out, Grace.
Gary, who you is and where can we find you? Because I know you got big things coming.
Yeah, things are definitely going down. So what's up, everyone? This is Gary D. I'm with Boardwalk Global Media. We have a few podcasts that we do. We just moved into a bigger studio. Our new show coming back is Friday, September 8th. It's the real discussion from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. You could find us on Facebook. You could find us on YouTube. Find us on Instagram, either Boardwalk Global Media or The Real Discussion. And I give it right back to Grace.
All right, so you guys ready to get into it? I know you guys saw the headline and you saw the thumb line. As usual, as I was doing my research, a lot of it is just common sense, people, but common sense ain't so common nowadays. So what we're talking about tonight, gentlemen, we're talking about embracing the art of compromising. You know, you got a lot of people, especially women, and I really don't care if you guys don't like what I'm about to say, because I know and I've seen and I've experienced myself that a lot of y'all women walk around here like it's my way or the highway, or y'all shit don't stink. And that a man is supposed to bow down to you just because you have a vagina. Men deserve just as much as us to be included in things, just as much as us and them to be consulted in major decisions. And at the end of the day, if you're following the chain of command and you're allowing your man to be the man and the head of household, it's really supposed to be, yes, it's compromising, but at the end of the day, the final decision should be for the betterment of the relationship and for both of y'all. But a lot of people, and I'm not just pinpointing women, but it is mostly women. When I hear this saying, happy wife, happy life, it makes me cringe. So the husband's not supposed to be happy? The husband's not a part of the marriage? I mean, come on, ladies. I really need y'all to stop thinking that y'all really are the shit. I really do. Just because you got a vagina and can hold a baby in your belly, that there's more to it than that. We come from a man. Let me say that again for the people in the back. We come from a man. He laid Adam down, put him to sleep, took a rib, and made us to be a helpmate, not to run shit, not to belittle a man, not to make him think that he's supposed to bow down to us. It doesn't work. And Kevin Samuels tried to talk to y'all about this, but you didn't want to listen. And for a lot of y'all, winter has come. And for a lot of y'all gonna buy a dog and die alone, because you want to walk around here bitter. You want to walk around here thinking that it's your way or the highway. You want to think that you're better than everybody, and you're gonna die alone. So with that being said, Gary, what give me a short synopsis of what you think compromising is in a relationship.
Compromise is basically when you're dealing with a relationship, it's two people coming to an agreement on, on how they're going to do things, and it's something where they feel that they have to give up. You got to give a little here or you got to give a little there, but it's I guess it's an effective agreement on how they'd like to run or organize this relationship. So I guess that's the simplest way that I could put it.
Okay, that's fair enough. Smitty, my boy, tell me, what do you think is compromise? Especially, of course, because tonight we're talking about in a relationship. And keep in mind, people, that it's not only a romantic relationship. We compromise with co-workers. We compromise with family members. We compromise with friends. I've learned the hard way that you don't freaking compromise with your children, because they don't know how to differentiate. And once you start negotiating and compromising with your children, it's a slippery slope after that. And trust me, I'm learning that the hard way right now. But Smitty, tell me, what's your take on compromising in a relationship?
You can hear me? You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Making sure. All right, making sure.
Yes, sir.
Cool. So like me, when it comes to compromising. So Grace, I like what you said as far as when you were speaking to the women as a woman. So I will also speak to this dynamic, because this is very important in keeping a solid relationship stable throughout time, right? To the men, as much as we know that we are the captains of the ship, as much as we know that we really do want our women to be under our leadership, right? There is a certain aspect of see what it is that I have in my teachings to receive. For us as men, we also have to remember there's a certain amount of compromise that has to come with, although you are the captain of the ship, although you are the king of that throne, that woman who is to be, I guess, your queen, your wife, whoever, she is to be of great counsel. If you go back, even in the ancient, like castle days, a lot of times the queens who were next to the kings, they were of great counsel. Yes, he had his bishop. Yes, he had, the general or, whatever head of the army and stuff. But there was also the queen who sat right next to him. And that queen was to observe what the king is doing and just give good counsel. The king doesn't have to take it, but that woman is to reinsure, reinstate, as well as help catch that man when he may be in the wrong. So just because I'm the captain of the ship, just because I'm supposed to be the boss, the leader of the house, that doesn't mean that my woman doesn't have any say-so. That shit don't work. We can try to make it sound as cool as we want on these panels online. In real life, I promise you, especially when dudes know they got that woman, I promise you, we do make sure that we at least adjust. I wouldn't say bend or fold.
Wait, I need you to repeat that.
When we come across that woman, we will adjust. We will adjust. Not necessarily bend or fold on our integrity and what we stand for and our morals and values, but we will damn sure accommodate and adjust. Because we know as well the value that you bring. It is a two-way street. It's not just we're the men, we bring all the value and that's it. And I'm sick of talking points like what it is that I'm saying being looked at as if, oh, it's just a simp factor or whatever. No, it's real life. And it's coming from a man who actually has experience dealing with women in multiple factors and sectors of life on multiple occasions, consistently. That shit don't work. If you want to go ahead and have something long lasting, compromise on both ends is essential. I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out.
So I love what the both of y'all said. Both men on the panel recognize their position, but they also recognize the value that a woman brings to the table and how they can be valuable in decisions and in a relationship as well. But the thing is, we have to be willing to, first of all, let's learn what compromise is, because most people don't even know what it is to compromise because they've been living in this bubble, in this world that it's my way or the highway for most of their lives. And that's why a lot of their relationships have failed, because people at the end of the day get sick of it. It gets old. And for anybody who gives in to a person at their every whim and every request is really doing a disservice to themselves. So for starters, compromising in a romantic relationship is finding the middle ground between you and your partner's wishes, habits, and preferences. Compromise means partners come together for critical decision making around how they will live together, spend their time, and even accomplish chores. And the biggest thing that I realized in compromise is the settlement of differences by mutual concession. I had to look up what the definition of mutual concession is.
Mhm.
because it made me think, okay, let me peel the layer, because if you don't know what compromising is, you definitely in hell ain't gonna know what mutual concession is. Am I right, Gary?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
that's taking it to a whole nother level. Mutual
Yeah.
concession means sacrifice. It
Hmm.
means each party sacrifices and gives up something in order to reach agreement and consent. It's not always about you. It's not always about who's right. It's about what's making the relationship in a good place, in a good space. You know, you want to walk away that you felt you're valued, and you want to walk away that you've been heard and seen. And the biggest thing is reciprocation. And to the men that I have spoke to, the biggest thing and their biggest complaint is they don't get things reciprocated to them. Women take, 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 but are not willing to give back, not even a small percentage. And you just take and you request and you take and you request, and you want this man to fill your cup, fill it and keep it full. But when are you going to start filling his cup? When are you going to tip over his cup? And it's so easy, Gary, for y'all men, because at the end of the day, y'all are really simple. It don't take much to fill y'all cup. What do you have to say about that, Gary?
I've always said I'm very simple. I'm not a complicated guy at all. But I think we kind of skipped over something before
Go
we
ahead.
could before we could have or get into compromise. We got to have effective
Here we
communication
go.
first.
I
We have
knew
to have
it.
we have to have effective communication first. Because if you can't effectively communicate with each other, then compromise is dead on arrival. It's not going to be able to work. So first,
DOA.
right. So first and foremost, you have to be able to have effective communication. Now, once you're able to establish that between you and your partner, between you and your coworker, between you and your close friend, then you could move into getting into a compromise that works for both parties. But if you can't effectively communicate, then yeah, it's yeah, like I said, compromise is dead on arrival. And I think and nowadays these quote unquote modern women, they don't want to effectively communicate.
Not only they don't want to effectively communicate, they don't know how.
Right.
Let's peel that onion. How can they effectively communicate if they were never taught how to effectively communicate? Because they're so used to seeing toxicity. They're so used to
Well,
seeing their mamas being bitter, their aunties being bitter, their grandmothers, big mama being so bitter. How are they going to learn how to? Social media has made us socially awkward. We don't even know how to do a face-to-face quick meet and greet at the coffee shop.
well,
Everybody want to just text.
there's a
So
lot of
Gary, we
there's a
gotta
lot of
go. We gotta go.
there's a lot of unhealed trauma, and a lot of these again quote unquote modern women, a lot of them have a lot of unhealed trauma that they either don't want to acknowledge or don't want to deal with, and that just makes it worse because you can't if it like you can't be dealing with that and then on the other hand I want a healthy relationship. Like that's not how it works.
You're absolutely right, Smitty. What do you have to say on what we've spoken so far? I know you're taking notes. I know you got that pad with your pen. You there? What do you see?
So, um, so look, when we speak about the women, whatever it is that they either find in value of the men or not, if we really think about it, are women incentivized in this day and age in any form of fashion to really look at, you know, the men who are in their community and around them as a value. When we get all kind of Wonder Woman, whatever you can do, I can do better type mentalities, then I'm gonna be real with you. Then we have to think about, see, let me just put it like this. Where my mind goes to is, I know that these women don't think this way for no reason. It's not coming out of thin air. This shit just didn't pop up. Once upon a time, they were one way. Then one day, over time, shit changed. So my mind is more driven on, where did that shift start to happen? So I just look at it more so on what is pressed out there and what is told to our sisters and what they view, what they take in. You hinted towards it, Grace. Social media and everything else, right? The whole love and hip hops and everything else, you know, these fake reality these shows with people on it that are scripted that they call real. There we go. Believe it or not, what I'm saying is, at that point, do we, you know, it's almost like, is it the rooster before the egg or the egg before the rooster type, you know, or the egg before the chicken, right? Do we really get on the sisters for being the way they are, and is, let's say, society depicting what they see our sisters, who they really are? Or is this really not our sisters? And society said, you know what, we're going to push an extreme narrative. We know that they are highly influenced by entertainment because they are the world's entertainment. I will keep saying it. And so what we're going to do is, I don't know, let's do this experiment. Let's go ahead and push an extreme narrative. Let's go ahead and see how they respond and react. And you know what I see that happen? Man, we fucking fell for it. So now this extreme narrative that has been pushed, that's not even real with the majority of us, brothers and sisters, we now have honed that and taken it in, and we actually project it to the world as if it is the majority of us. And when you get the few of us who actually have the balls and the guts to stand up and say, no, that's not us, guess what? They got them so well trained that they will shoot that damn plane out the sky. Don't you dare speak up and say that's not us. Whole time it's not. You got to know how to decode and go through the undertow of this shit. And I'm going to keep saying that. Everything that we seeing is not surface. It's a lot more subliminal, spiritual, and everything else, more than just what you see in your face physical. And you got to have that power of discernment. But with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out.
There's a term. All right,
okay, so with
let me just
what you said, Smitty, I don't want to.
Let me just chime in just a quick.
Go ahead, Gary. Go ahead.
There's a term called manufacturing consent, right? So, and basically what that is, you know, I guess to put it on like a smaller term, if you're a new artist, let's just say, and you go to a club, and you invite all your friends to go to the club, and you get the DJ to play the record, and you have some record company people come in, right? And they see when the record comes on, everybody goes crazy. Them not knowing that's all your friends, right? So it looks like you have all these people. Like, it's no different than when we see on these media shows, they do a certain live in studio audience tailored a certain way. And if there's, let's say, 100 people or 200 people that's in the audience, and whatever's up on stage is happening and they're clapping and cheering, that doesn't mean that everybody is into that, right? It's only the people that's in the room that is maybe being told to be that way or what have you. But what goes out into the world, if you will, or into everybody else is to like, oh, well, this is what's happening. And that's not necessarily the case. So that's why I say there's a term called manufacturing consent, which is used a lot in media and entertainment. And I know it goes over a lot of people's head, but I've been in this game for 35 years. So anyway, I'm sorry, Grace. Go right ahead.
No, it's okay. That's a good nugget. That's something to realize. But I'm gonna give you a little pushback on that because I have a friend that always keeps telling me, how long are we gonna blame the white man for our troubles? How long are we gonna blame our trauma for our issue? How long are we gonna stay contained in the slavery mentality? When are we gonna pick up a book and read and learn and open our minds? Because obviously, if something is not working in your relationship and you're the common factor, it is time to put the mirror and do a self-reflection. I mean, I'm not going to tell you, gentlemen, it's hard because in the situation I'm in right now, I've had to learn to compromise a lot. And it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of due diligence. It takes a lot of sacrifice. But again, it's not about me at the end of the day. It's about the betterment of the relationship. And at the end of the day, if one person's not happy, the other person's not going to be happy, and then nobody's happy. I'm not saying that you have to bow down to each other. I'm not saying that one person is going to have more say than the other, but I am saying that we do have to follow the chain of command. Because if you say you want a man, if you say you want a protector and you want a provider and you want somebody to profess to you, then you have to allow that person to move in that space as such. But you can't say you want a man and you want a provider and a protector, but then you cursing his ass out and you belittling him and you don't listen to anything he has to say. Perfect example, look at this stupid situation with the Kiki situation. All that man did was voice the fact that he didn't like his baby mama out with her ass cheeks out. Oh, all the hyenas came out. Oh, she's able to do whatever she wants. She's grown. She's this. She's that. But let a man go out and show his print with some gray sweatpants or wear a muscle shirt. You know, it's too. My point is that a lot of us women, and I was included in that group, not anymore, but we can do whatever the hell we want, but as soon as the man does it, it's a problem. I mean, come on now. What that's the problem. You have to be willing to compromise. You have to have an open mind. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Okay? But it shouldn't get to that. You're a mother. You're representing him, and you out there twerking, rubbing up against Usher with your ass out. But that was a problem. And now he's going, I don't know if you saw this, Gary and Smitty, but he's going for full custody.
Yeah,
he's going for child support, and he's going for the house. And I hope he wins. I really do. Because he's been the caregiver of that child. It's okay when a woman does it. A woman can come in and take half. A woman can take your house. A woman can get your pension. But as soon as a man does it, it's a problem. And that's a problem to me. Because what's good for women should be good for men too. Hold on, I got my girl Lena up in here trying to come in.
Hey, hi, Grace.
Yeah, I can't get you in. Get out and come back. Oh, there you. Oh, hold on a second. I think you're in. So that's all I'm saying. So reciprocation is a big factor when it comes to compromising. Give and take, to be in accord. It's healthy to maintain your personal belief, opinions, and preferences while still meeting halfway. That's the important thing. You're meeting halfway. Good evening, Lena. How are you today?
Pretty good. I'm so glad somebody talk about that Kiki incident. I agree though. I
You're
don't
so
think
glad
it's
that
like a.
somebody's. Oh, wait. You just dropped off. Hold on.
I
I gotta
agree.
add you back in. While she comes back in, when you're in a relationship, chances are that your partner will have different values, preferences, and habits. You will have different views and perspective on things because all of us come from different backgrounds. All of us come from different cultures, and all of us come from different upbringing. You know, it's no longer how your daddy and your mama taught you something. It's no longer this. It's now has to do with your partner. That's things. Yeah, you can bring in things that you've learned from your parents and family members, but at the end of the day, it's about you and that person. It's not about your aunties. It's not about your mama or big mama or you know what I'm saying? Yes, you can be influenced,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's like I hate when people bring in their family members in their marital problems, because now that person is seeing that person differently and then looking at you dumb because you went back to that person. That's why marital issues should stay within the household. You should not go running to your mama. You should not go running to your uncle or whatever, because at the end of the day, the person you need to be talking to and venting to is the person that you're in the relationship. True or false,
I
Gary, Smitty?
Nancy, it goes back to, as we all, communication. You got to be able to effectively communicate, right? I think that's just the root of all of these things. If you can't effectively communicate, how are you going to have a healthy or even a somewhat healthy relationship? So I think that's something that people need to work on. Like people need to work on their communication skills on especially when they have a partner. And I think some people don't know that. They don't know how to do that. They was never taught. And I think that's definitely a problem. There are a lot of
All right,
these.
Nina, you're in. Tell me what.
I just want us to go back to that Kiki
No,
incident.
go ahead. Finish, Gary. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to say that. So
Okay,
there's a reason why a lot of
no,
these.
Go ahead, Lena. Go ahead.
There's a reason why a lot of these new relationships, if you will, within the last couple of years, they end before they end before they start.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Absolutely. Go ahead, Lena. What were you gonna say?
I agree with the Kiki incident because you told him to be a stay-at-home dad. He paused his career. That's the same thing that women complain about. And now he wants child support. He should get it. I really feel he should get it. I don't understand about sole custody. If she want to fight for joint, fine, I guess, because it's still her child is still a baby. She's probably still breastfeeding and everything. However, she should pay him child support. He deserves child support.
Yeah, but she's never home.
Yeah, that's true.
She's never home to have in custody. And then the reason he's going for the house is because that baby was born in that house. So he wants to maintain the stability of that baby's environment. And you know what? That's ain't shit, nothing new that women ain't been doing for years. But now because a man is doing it, oh my God, clenching my pearls.
I think it's fair.
How dare you?
I think money flows where the child goes.
He wins. I hope he wins and he takes her to the cleaners.
I actually do
exactly.
too.
I'm hoping that this happens. I'm hoping that this happens to set the precedence so women can stop behaving badly. So now men can be heard and seen, that they have just as much rights as women. All right, Smitty, I know you're ready to say something. You've been silent for too long.
And
What you
hey,
got to
Gary,
say,
I didn't
sir?
mean to be rude. I just was glad that she was talking about this
It's
because a
okay.
lot of people been complaining, and I was like, "What are you complaining about? That's fair."
Well, what I would say is this to that, right?
I
And
might do
salute to
that
you,
next
Lena.
week then, because I've been wanting to talk about that.
Nah, it's all good. I know you want to delay, Grace. Salute to you, Lena. Good to see you, love. Always.
Good to see you too. Salute to me.
Always. So look, I'm gonna tell y'all what I'm hearing as a father. Not saying nobody else ain't parents. I'm just saying me as a father. What I'm hearing is okay. This man is getting ready to make sure that I guess this child, because I'm just going to take it for what's being said for right now, unless I have more details. But the only thing I hear being
Okay.
spoken about is this man wants to go ahead and see to it that child support is had. Now, let's remember, this is not called spousal support, it's called child support. So the whole notion of whether it's the man receiving it, the woman receiving it, or whatever, my whole thing is to look at it as any form of fashion other than that kid, because I think we keep forgetting about the kids. We keep forgetting about the children, because that is what child support is for. I don't, if dad has the children or the child and that support is needed towards that household, it's needed towards that household for the children. And the very moment that we start to, well, nah, bump that shit. Hell yeah, we're gonna do it like this or whatever. Men need to pay, or women don't need to pay. Men don't need to pay, or whatever it is. That shit totally derails all of our thoughts. And once again, us as grown ass adults, I want you to picture it. You got these kids that's right around our knees, and they tugging on our slacks and our skirts and dresses, like, hey, y'all. And we going back and forth. We up here with it. They down here. And we're going back and forth on some, yeah, because you this. And they going back and forth, you that. But we be forgetting. It's for the damn kids, bro. So if that man need that child support for them kids in whatever
You're
fashion,
absolutely right.
it's for the damn children. It's not about you, mom or dad. It's called child support. Take yourself out of it. You have no, the only thing you're supposed to do is make sure whatever comes your way is directed to the child, because that is the support for the child. I digress. My mic is muted.
And you're absolutely right. But we forget about the child. Even the courts forget about the child. Because there's a lot of mothers out there that do not deserve custody of their children. And as a matter of fact, I know women don't like to hear the statistics, but single dads do better raising their children than single mothers. The first one is a 2-parent household, then it's a single father, and then is the single mother. And if you don't believe me, look up the statistics. I'm not going to get into that right now because that's not what the show is about, but I can definitely get into it. And just to let you know, let me give a shout out. All my information that I'm putting out there tonight is one of my favorite websites that I use, verywellmind.com. I get newsletters every day. I get all my information up there. I know I sound smart as hell, but this is who I reference to every week. So go look them up if you don't believe what I'm saying. And they got a lot of good information. So let's keep going. I was talking about how a lot of us were brought up in different cultures, different upbringing. Like, for instance, you may have different views on things like finances, how to raise the children, where to go on vacation, what big ticket item to buy, what color paint you want to use for the kitchen, what to have for dinner. These differences can lead to conflict. And don't forget the show that we did, Gary and Smitty, about conflict resolution. With each party wanting different things, there is no easy answer, but this is where we kick in and embrace the art of compromise. we have to be open to it, ladies and gentlemen, because it's in a reality, in the realm of reality, thinking that everything is going to go your way, it's just not, doesn't even make sense. And for the women that walk around thinking that that's how it's supposed to be, for the princesses and the queens that think that that's what it's supposed to be just because you have a vagina, I'm here to tell you that that's not the case, ladies. And you know what? You can call me a women basher all you want. You can call me a pick me. You can call me whatever you want, but don't call me too late for dinner. Because most y'all that talk shit to me and name call me are single, are bitter, are miserable, are lacking sex, and just have a dog and gonna die alone. And I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Okay, I'm not holding back anymore, because if y'all have the audacity to come on my show and other panels and call me names and accuse me of, oh, black women bash, then you know what? If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if the shoe fits, wear it. Because if something's irking you, I must have touched a nerve. So that's where we look in ourselves in the mirror, and maybe once, can y'all just maybe once be like, let me see what Grace is talking about and see if she got a point. No, I don't listen to nobody. You don't listen to the black women. You don't listen to the black men. You don't listen to your mamas. You don't listen to nobody, because most women can do no wrong. Then you know what? Don't complain about your results. Don't complain that most men ain't, you know what? Because who's raising these most men? It's a vicious cycle. And all I'm here is to give out this message, have educated, smart, articulate black men on my panel and women who can either agree or disagree with me, but we got to talk about it. We got to have these conversations. We can't just make pretend, because you know what? These men out here in these YouTube channels are opening the eyes of other men, and shit is shifting. Things are shifting for us women, and it's going to change. So let's get into examples of compromising. Just simple examples. On planning a date, it's important to take each other's preferences in account. One of the most guilty things that we do, especially women, is that we lose our individuality when we become in a relationship. A person should complete you, not be your whole life, not be, okay, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I'm a sports chick. I love sports. I love watching football, going to football games, baseball games, basketball games. That's something that I enjoy doing. If I'm dating somebody that doesn't like sports, I'm not saying that they gotta be all into it like I am, but they have to accept it. They're gonna know that on Sunday afternoon when my team is on, I'm home frying up some chicken wings, making some fat people fries, you know, and I'm watching the game. Or if I don't feel like doing that, I'm going to a sports bar to watch the game. If I don't feel like doing that, I'm actually going to a game. That's who I am. That's what I like to do. So you can either accept it or reject it. I'll always invite that person, but if they decide not to go, I'm still gonna go. Or I'll stay home and watch it. But you cannot stop doing the things that you enjoy doing just because you were the person. So again, it's important to take each other's preferences in account. Expressing your love is an example of compromising. You and your partner may have different love languages. Learning to speak their love language can help them feel loved and cared for, or even if it's not the same preferred method of showing affection. And I think that's a show I'm going to have to do, Smitty and Gary, talking about love language. My way of feeling loved may not feel Gary's way of feeling loved. May not feel, Smitty may have a whole totally different thing on how he feels loved. And it is our responsibility to learn what the other person's love language is, because just because you think you did something, you feel that they feel loved, and that's not the case. Everybody feels love a different way. It's like me and Gary I'm trying to speak Spanish to him, and he don't know a lick of Spanish. How is he going to understand what I'm saying to him? The same thing can be said with love. Gary may think that bringing me flowers every Friday in a card is showing me love. It is. I would prefer iced coffee. You know what I'm saying? Over flour. You see, it's different things. I would prefer a plate of oxtails, rice and peas with extra gravy on the rice. You see, it's different things. To me, I may think Gary likes words of affirmation, but his love language is actually physical touch. So we really have to learn each other's love language, and that's a part of compromising, because we can't be so selfish to think that just because I feel loved in one way, that they're going to feel love in that way. People have different ways of how they feel love. Mr. Intellectual Soapbox, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming.
Salute, family.
I know you've been in and out of the show, but what do you have to say so far?
I think in a relationship you have to, it's two becoming one, so there has to be a level of compromise. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you're gonna live with that person. So if you're gonna live with another grown adult, it's gonna damn sure be some compromising, whether you wanted to or not. So that's just the facts. You know what I mean? Now if you live with a child, then yeah, you can kind of tell a child where to go, what to do, where to be, and how to be. And then even children sometimes get out of line, and you gotta get them back in line. But when a grown adult, oh yeah, you're gonna have to compromise. Ain't no way if somebody's with you, Grace, that they ain't gonna have to compromise. You're a grown adult, you already raised a kid, you done been through a lot of different things in life. Oh, it's gonna be some level of compromising. He may think that it's gonna be a certain way, but nah, it ain't gonna always be that way. It's gonna be some give and take. And you're gonna have to compromise too. So it's gonna be some give and take on your part. You know what I mean? And that's how it's gonna go. You know what I mean? I may want to have, certain things every Friday. Every Friday, I want to watch the game. That's what I'm doing on a Friday. Now, Saturday, you want to have your girls over. Okay, that's cool. But just make sure I got my Friday. I got my Friday, you got your Saturday. Know what I mean? We working together. Know what I mean? And we not clashing with each other.
Absolutely.
And then Sunday is our day. You know what I'm saying? So we got the whole weekend, lined out. But if I'm trying to do one thing on Friday, and then you're like, nah, you ain't doing that. And then you try to do your thing on Saturday, and then I'm stepping on your toes. Oh, nah, we're going to have some issues. We're going to have some major issues. Trust me.
Absolutely. And that's how a lot of, and look, guys, and look, ladies, I'm not really trying to bash y'all, but y'all know that the majority of these issues with compromising is with us. I'm gonna include myself in there too. Okay. So Smitty, what say you? What you got to say? What that notepad got? What you been writing on that notepad?
All right. So what I have is, when you were talking about, like, for example, Grace, everything when you were explaining, when you was like, look, sometimes I like to make wings at the house. Sometimes I'm going to go to the bar, go to the game. You know, if you don't like it, whatever. And the only thing that was coming to my mind was, so this talk wasn't had before you all became solidified. See, the thing is this, right? Watch this. Grace, I'm about to go in. And no, this is not an attack on women, but just as a man who has really dated women, this has been my experience on multiple occasions, right? So one, first and foremost, when I believe Gary was talking about some of the flowers and stuff. Ladies, you have to remember, love is not like we lit and they and everything else. It's not a quote. It's not a catchy phrase and saying. Love is a real word that by text definition falls under the category of verb. Verb is action. So that man bringing you flowers, whether you prefer your smoothie or whatever, he is showing you through his actions that I love you. Now, I ain't got to say nothing. I'm just going to send you these flowers. That is an act of love, because you only display love through acts. I mean, I can say it, And like I said before, my father always said when I asked him, how come you don't say I love you that much? He said, because I would rather show you I love you every day and never tell you, as opposed to tell you that I love you every day and never show you. It's an action, it's a verb, right? So Grace, even getting down to like when you're talking about like all right, so look, where I'm gonna go in is on this. One thing I notice is that with these conversations that's not had and people getting into situations, because I notice a lot of times I've come across women who real deal be like, I'm just like asking them questions. Why? It's my third day talking to you on the phone. I haven't even met you yet. I'm trying to get a feel for who I'm, going to be inviting to my home and or picking up or going to see you. I'm trying to get a feel for you, right? How many times, fellas, honestly, I know I'm not the only one. You hear a female be like, what is this, an interview? Oh my gosh, like, can we just let it look, I just like to kind of flow with it and go. Now, watch this. When you just flow with it and let it go, then you find out that nigga knocking you over the head 6 months later. You want to know why? Because you didn't inquire about nothing. There were no real talks that was had. Because to you, that shit was boring. It felt like 50 Cent 21 questions. It felt like an interview. And you didn't want to just go ahead and be like, you know what? I really need to get to know who this person is. I have children. I have friends and family. You are going to eventually come around me as well as my peoples. I need to vet you properly. But nah, everybody just want to be on some, just let it flow. Just, let's just get to know each other, what it is, what comes of it, comes of it. That shit is not productive and it don't work. It don't work, yo. Yes, you need to go ahead. Fuck that. If you need to meet at IHOP and all y'all do is order coffee and you come with your pen and pad like I'm doing right now, and I don't care. You want to know why? Because if you're talking about, your actual sanctity and peace, if you're talking about your actual overall look and experiences when it comes to the opposite sex and how you have your view on relationships, if you're talking about real deal, what you would tell other people, that shit needs to have some form of accuracy. And if you don't ever, I don't know nowhere that brings anybody into the circle, whether a job and or a fraternity, a goddamn secret club, you name it. I don't know nowhere where it's like, knock, knock, hey, my name's Bill. No, I just came to join. Get the fuck on in here, Bill. Are you serious? So now we want to keep on looking at people that real deal I got questions. I got a lot here that I need to make sure that I protect and preserve. I am going to make sure whoever comes through these doors is of the best caliber possible that I could, through my human eyes, vet and see. We all got our issues. We all got our problems and everything else. But bump that shit. I don't just want to do the whole, let's just rock with it. I mean, let's just be around each other, get to know each other. Nigga, I don't know if you a pipehead. I don't know if you a klepto. You don't want me to know nothing about you. Yeah, I want to know, do you have a good relationship with your father, whether he's still here or not? Do you have any brothers? What's your relationship like that with them? Because I need to know, just like women do, a man who, what they say, we judge a man based on what his relationship with his mother. Why shouldn't I, as a man, base my outlook on you? Do you have a relationship with your father? But if I say that, I'm wrong, right? I'm wrong, right? Fuck out of here, man. But other than that, I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out.
So let me chime in here.
Gary, you have anything to add?
Yes, yeah, Yeah. So 2 points here. One, in regards to the love, the love language, I think that's something that's very important because, as you said, everybody's love language is not the same, right? I think that what has happened, because of what we've seen in movies and TVs, we've been conditioned to, all women like flowers and candy and all that other stuff. I've actually met a couple of women that was like, they weren't into flowers. Like it was like, a couple years ago, I sent a woman a bouquet of roses, and she was like, "Yeah, so." Right? So I think it's really important, and it's a real conversation to have with your potential partner to find out what their love language is. Right? That's a real conversation. And I think that and the majority of people nowadays don't even have that, because some people's love language may be different, or may just be very simple, right? And I think you need to understand that, and people need to really understand that. The other point that I want to make is in terms of, as what Smitty was talking about, you know, I always say you got to have the real conversation, right? I can't talk to a woman that I can't have a real conversation with. It's not going to work. If she's going to try that, oh, let's go with the flow, like, fuck out of here with that bullshit. The conversation, one, the energy has to feel right. It has to flow, right? Because sometimes you can talk to people or I should say, you could talk to someone and 3-4 hours later, you're still on the phone, right? Right? So, and I think that's a testimony to something, right? So I think that when you're able to have those kind of meaningful conversations to get to learn about the other person, how they are, you know, what are their dreams, goals, aspirations, what things have bothered them, you know, some of the trauma issues. It depends on how comfortable they get with you as you have the conversation, right? But again, you have to be able to have the real conversation. Most of these modern women nowadays, they don't want to do that. They don't even know how to do that. So, you know, it creates a problem. But then here's the other thing. When, you know, and I guess I'm sort of pivoting where, you know, some of these guys who go other places and they get women that are actually, you know, have the feminine energy and all these sort of right things, if you will, and things sort of flow, and there's no real, you know, there's no real problem, no real stress, no, you know, a woman behaving how a woman is supposed to behave. Because most men, they want a lady that's going to behave like a lady, you know, and do all the things that a lady does, right? And nowadays with these modern women, you know, a lot of that is not happening. But as I just want to circle back to having the real conversation with your potential partner, and all these, you know, all this stuff is supposed to come out. Because to me, and let me use myself as an example, I'm very simple, like very simple. So if I'm getting into a relationship with a woman, you know, and she tells me, oh, she likes this, that, it's fine. I'm like, look, here's just the things that I need, basics, and everything else is cool. Like, I'm not a difficult guy. Like, but don't make shit complicated when it don't need to be. Like, I'm not one that's going to stress you to, you know, if you want to go out with your girlfriends, because there's certain important, vital conversations that we're going to have already had. We're going to establish whatever boundaries, if you want to call it restrictions, rules, what have you, governing guidelines of what the relationship is. Then all of those things would have already been established. So we know what's what, because ain't no woman gonna come and say, well, oh, I didn't tell her, or I didn't let her know. Because a lot of women like they like to do that. They like to use that line. Oh, you didn't tell me, or I didn't know. Well, if you have the real conversations, the real discussions, then all of these things will come out, right? And you're able to effectively understand each other and feel like, hey, this is someone I'm really feeling and I want to be in a relationship with. So, and it's not difficult, because, and at the end of the day, your partner It's supposed to be your sanctuary, your safe place. And you know, I'll end with that. Back to you, Grace.
I mean, I hear you. And I guess at the end of the day, Gary, we've been saying it since day one, since January 1st, 2023. It's all about having the real conversation. You got to talk more. You got to vet your partner. You got to ask the hard and awkward questions. I mean, intellectual, you're married and you've been married for years. So obviously, you and your wife have been doing something right that has caused y'all to stay together for so long. Is that a safe assumption, Soapbox? Are you there? Or maybe he walked away. But that's okay. So I'm going to go into more examples of compromising. Go ahead, Smitty. What you got to say, baby?
No, I thought you called me. Did you call me?
No, I was calling Soapbox.
Oh, never mind. I digress. My mic is muted. Rock
Yes,
out.
I'm
Rock
here.
out.
I'm here. I'm here, fam. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, hold on. What I was saying was that you're out of all four of us, you're married, and you've been married for several years now. So obviously, you and your wife are doing something right. What can you say about compromising your marriage that has worked for you guys?
I always say this when people ask me if I'm married, I just tell people I'm loved. And I say that because, you know, I like people just to think whatever they think. You know what I mean? I kind of like to play the Hollywood role, but whatever. I would say this. What keeps, you know, situations that I have functional is a simple fact of knowing that we're not perfect, knowing that we have flaws, and knowing that we're going to go through our ups and downs. You know, this summer, my woman went through a very rough time. You know, she lost a very prominent family member in her family, and you know, I had to roll with the punches, and I had to make adjustments, and we're still making adjustments. You know, this person was with her whole life, and now they're not here anymore. So it's learning how to make adjustments, because adjustments gonna have to be made. You know what I mean? You may lose a family member, you may lose a career, you may lose different types of things, you know what I mean, that may happen within your relationship. So you gotta adjust. So I think just adjusting to your partner's needs and understanding that at times, you know, like I said, it's about sacrifice. At times I have to sacrifice my will, and you know, yes, learning to make adjustments, sacrifice my will, and definitely be like, all right, she needs this at this moment. Okay, she needs to do this at this moment. We need to go here right now. She needs to be on the phone with these family members. You know what I mean? And, you know, for me, I mourn differently. I don't mourn the same way she mourn. If I'm mourning, leave me alone. You know what I mean? I may go chill for a minute. I may go, go chill with the fam for a minute, may get a little something to drink on. Then I'm back moving and grooving. Or I may just be in my room, you know what I'm saying, just contemplating. But she need to, talk to family, and they need to have long conversations and show pictures and all that. I ain't doing all that. You know what I'm saying? We'll check in, and then after that, I got to keep it pushing. You know what I mean? Now, is that the effective way to mourn? Probably not. I probably got to do a better job, but that's how I get down for mine. So yeah.
I'm on the same way, so I do understand.
You feel me, brother?
I feel you. I'm on the same. I get it. I totally get it. I'm right there with you.
I mean, I hear you.
I actually said to her the other day, I said, man, I said, you.
I mean, the fact is that, and I like what you said.
Go ahead, Grace.
Hey, real quick. I don't know who.
I like what you said, Soapbox, about learning.
Echo with one of y'all.
It's
Grace.
okay. I have a lag. So it's okay. Better now? It's learning to make adjustments, accepting each other's flaws. Okay, none of us are perfect. And what a lot of us do is that we put people on a pedestal, and God forbid they make a mistake or they fall off that pedestal, and our whole perception of that person shatters. And I'm guilty of that too. But we have to remember that we're all human. We all make mistakes. But again, it's not the mistake that you make, it's how you rectify the mistake is what matters. In my opinion. But let me keep going of more examples of compromising. We talked about people losing their individuality in relationships, and that shouldn't be. If you meet a man and you know that he loves to go to the cigar bars with his boys, then he should be able to go to the cigar bar with his boys when you get into a relationship. Why should he have to stop doing what he's doing? Now, does that mean that he does it every weekend? No. Okay, that doesn't mean that. But does that mean that you stop him from doing it? No, that doesn't mean that either. So that's where you guys come in and compromise and be like, hey, once a month, me and my boys are gonna get together and we're gonna go to the cigar bar. Women, ladies, y'all should be okay with that. Men need an outlet too, just like we do. Just like we like to go shopping and we like to go get our nails done and do whatever, men need outlet too. And for y'all to think that they have to stay home up underneath y'all asses 24/7 and that they're okay with that is unacceptable. It is absolutely unacceptable, because that man, all he gonna do is gonna be miserable, gonna be kicking the dog, and gonna be whispering sweet nothings to the work wife. So a lot of us, and again, I'm gonna put it out there to the women because I am an advocate for men. A lot of us need to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. Because you're not willing to compromise. You're not willing to work with the man. You're not even willing to get on his program. But you want a man to lead you and protect you and pay all your bills. Which one is it, ladies? You can't have it both ways. You really can. And I'm here to that y'all gonna end up buying a dog and dying alone. And for a lot of y'all, winter has come. And winter is gonna stay with y'all because of this nasty ass attitude that y'all walking around with, thinking that y'all are all God's gift to this earth because you got a vagina. Vagina is the one thing that's most walking around on this earth. What you won't do, the 10 other women in that man's DMs will. And the sooner we learn that, the sooner we will have better relationship. Dividing household chores. You and your partner can negotiate how you split housework. Spending time together is another compromise. You may prefer, like me, you may prefer to spend the weekends watching sports, whereas he may prefer doing outdoor activities, hiking and shit. Okay, that's okay with me. On the weekends that the Jets play a sorry team, or I'm not interested in watching the game, boom, let's go do what you want to do. Let's go fishing. You know, I was dating a guy that loved fishing. I don't understand the concept of fishing, just sitting there waiting for a line to bite. But hey, you know, it was all about bringing a cooler, drinking beer and fishing, and I did it. But you have to be able to compromise. That is the whole concept. Another big one is splitting up the holidays with the person that you're with. Ladies, you can't expect to go spend the holidays every holiday with your mama and your family. He's got a family too. He's got a mama too. You know, you cannot be so selfish and have the audacity to think that he's got to go spend every holiday with your raggedy ass family. He get tired of them too. You got to go deal with his family. But anyway, let me go ahead and let's talk with JVJ that since he's on the panel. How you doing, sir?
What's up, Grace? You said he don't want to go spend time with her raggedy ass family. That was funny. I like that one.
Yeah, yeah, because some of them are just they're annoying, and you don't think that they're annoying. Their mama ain't gonna be annoying. And they, oh Lord, you know, but that's okay. We all gotta, you know, take that pill and go visit their family and eat their dry ass turkey. But for Christmas, we gotta go to his mama house. We gotta go visit big mom. I mean, come on, ladies. And again, I know y'all gonna think I'm bashing y'all, but we're the ones that have the most attitude. We're the ones that are most non-negotiable. Men will make adjustments. If they love you and want to be with you, they won't break, but they'll bend a little. But when you're asking them to bend so much, there's gonna come a time where he's just gonna say, F it, I'm gonna go with the work wife. And then don't get mad. Take that mirror out and look at yourself. So I got Wally in the house saying salute. I got my boy True Table talking about we cooking tonight on a Thursday night. Yeah, it's a real one tonight. And then I got Craig here too, saying, hold on, I covered the freaking comment. I work all damn week. I want to relax. I know that's right. Oh, hey, Craig, how you doing? Uh-oh, what's up? Wow, been a long time. Absolutely. We all need outlets. We all need outlets. And to stop people from engaging in our outlets is wrong and selfish and full of entitlement. Does anybody have anything to say before I move forward?
Yeah.
Smitty?
Smitty first.
Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is when you should and shouldn't compromise.
Damn, Grace, I said I want to say something. Smitty raised his hand too.
Oh,
Did Smitty want to go first?
My bad.
Shit, I was like, damn.
No. I was shaking. I was saying, nah, I'm good. If Jay, you got something to say, salute. Nah, go ahead.
Shit, damn. Let me
Hey,
say
look. I've been dealing with that delay the whole show. I said, goddamn, we got to time this shit. We got to time this bitch. Go ahead, though, man. Nah, I ain't got shit to say. I'm waiting for the next topic. I'm rocking out.
Like, real shit, Grace, when you talked about compromise and you referred to the gentleman, like, I think Gary said he understands exactly what intellectual soapbox was talking about. And that's honestly some real ish. You don't do everything with the person that you're with, first off. Like, you need to have time apart. But what's the best way to put it? When y'all do stuff together, there's going to be a lot of things that the opposite sex does that they do really don't know or really don't want to do. If you know what I mean. Like, you might want to take me to the mall and go look for dresses. I don't want to do that. But that might be one of the things I might compromise on to do for you to make sure that you stay happy and this relationship keeps flowing. And it's a give and take. With it being the whole big level of compromising here, compromising there. Like, I'm going to do things that she wants me to do, and she's going to do things that I don't want. You know how I go. I'm fucking that shit up, the words up. But either way, though, you have to do things like that to have a long-lasting, productive relationship. You're going to have to do a lot of things that you really don't want to do for your partner. I think that we're running into the problem in today's society that a lot of people don't think they're supposed to do anything for the opposite. And whether somebody wants to say that's men or want to say that's women, we have a situation where some people feel like they don't even have to meet the bare requirements to even be in a relationship. I didn't cover too many videos of chicks telling us that they not working no more, but this ain't the agreement that we came to. Or dude, like, I really ain't ran across no ones with no dudes. Like, it mainly be the girls saying all that crazy shit. But we have to understand if we're going to get into a relationship, and if you really want to elevate yourself to a marriage, because a lot of ladies just want that day when it comes down to it, to really sustain what you're dealing with, you're going to have to do things for your partner. You're going to have to actually serve your partner. It works both ways. It's not a one-way street where he does this for me and you just do whatever the hell you want to do. That ain't flying with real men. And if you want a real man, you're going to have to get on the game plan. Now, if you want some little beta, chump, simp, whatever, by all means do it. But yeah, you're gonna have to compromise. I'm sorry, drag that out. The hell?
Absolutely. And that's what I was talking about. Women, all they want to do is take, but don't want to give back. And that's selfish, and that's self-entitlement. And there are men nowadays that they're not going to put up with it, especially a man of caliber who has worked hard all his life. A man that has that is financially stable, that is established, she's not going to put up with that. He is definitely not going to put up with that. True, I'm gonna put the link back up so you can come on in. But so now I want to talk about
he's here.
When you
he's
should
here.
compromise. Oh, he is. Oh,
Yeah, he right
my
there.
bad. I can't. I gotta press the little arrow.
Don't worry about it,
see
girl.
you.
Don't worry about it.
I see you, True. Can you get him?
This
Can you
girl
let him
great.
in, please? Because it's my thing is not.
I got him. I already got him. Damn, you kicked him out.
My mouse is.
I got him. I got you, Grace. I got you. I got you. I got you, girl. I got you.
Oh, I don't
got
even.
you.
Okay.
I got
okay,
you. I
okay,
got you. Damn. Okay. I got you. There you go. Damn. Grace, stop clicking shit. Don't click that.
I'm not touching anything.
Your shit's just clicking. Yeah. Ain't true, man. The algorithm don't want you up in here, bruh. I'm just being honest with you. Because it's clicking you out. I'm clicking you back. Look, I'm trying, man. I'm trying for you.
I'm not touching anything. Now. Look at my hands.
Yeah. I didn't see you move.
Right
I didn't see you move. I think he good now. I think he good. He good. He in here. Hey, look, since you in here, I'm out. Y'all keep rocking.
Can't hear you. Are you talking? Can you hear me, True? I can't hear you. Are you on mute? Okay.
I was on mute, but Grace was talking.
Never mind. Okay, no. Never mind.
Yeah,
Never mind.
I couldn't hear Grace.
Okay, I can't hear anybody talking.
Well, I'm on silent. I was on mute,
Okay,
but Grace, Grace,
sure.
I can't hear Grace. Like I couldn't hear her. I can hear you, Gary.
Yeah, I can hear you too, True. So Grace, we can't hear you.
I can hear you, yeah.
All right. In the meantime, I don't know, Gary, True. Who does the best Grace impersonation till we get her voice back?
Now you got jokes.
Who could just kind of keep the show going? So
I got you. So True, yeah. So I think you've been listening to what we've been talking about. So what's your take on compromise when it comes to, dealing with a relationship, and what are some of the things that you've experienced?
I think compromise is a very, very dangerous word, and I think compromise is a word that women like to use and weaponize for manipulation. I don't think a man should ever compromise, to be honest. And what I mean by that, so I'm gonna clarify it. I think when women say compromise, they're referring to major changes. They're referring to lifestyle changes. They're referring to habits that they don't really like you doing. If we're talking about, hey, baby, do you want Chinese or Italian? I may want Italian. She may want Chinese. That's not a big compromise. But in my opinion, a man should never compromise because it's his relationship to begin with. So he should be setting the foundation of how this is going to go from jump. There should be no room to compromise if he's doing it correctly, in my opinion. But when you hear women say compromise, it's always to take away from something that you truly enjoy doing, that she doesn't care for you doing. And it's a way of a manipulation, in my opinion.
Hey,
so
True.
I think that's
True, real quick. All right, so I do get where you're coming from as far as I think what I'm hearing from you, let me try, because I try to decode things, right? So what I'm hearing is that man needs to walk in the door I don't care if she say shoes off. You come in there, muddy, rainy boots, and you put your foot down. That's right. And you make your mark in the sand. Listen to what I'm saying. I get where you coming from as far as compromise in the sense of just assert yourself. Now, let me ask you this. If you really, as a man of means, if you really come across that woman that you see as of true value and means, do you really believe that it's going to be able to work, considering there is, and when I say compromise, I mean as far as like, you know, there are times you have your way and there are times she has her way. Do you think that if you don't have that dynamic, that the relationship will last? Will you be able to get her or anything like that? Man, I'm pretty sure you can. Pretty sure you can. But when you're talking about longevity, do you believe that that is a, let's say, successful formula?
I believe so, from the standpoint that when I'm referring to compromise, I'm referring to pillars of characteristics. I'm referring to things that makes that man himself. A lot of times when we hear this word compromise, again, I built the foundation of my argument by saying I believe it's a weaponized word. And I think that when women are considering compromise, they're looking at how can I change you to best benefit what I want.
Do you know what the whole main point of compromise is, Brother True? Is that compromise only happens when there is more than one party.
Okay.
Most of us don't compromise with ourselves. That's just a choice decision, right? So if there's more than one party, real quick, I'm gonna give it to you. If it's more than one party, the fact is that I would think that you would have to make sure that, all right, bet it's not just me. So everything you just said, no, well, how I am as a man, okay, that's cool. But if you want to have a successful relationship long term, there's going to be a part of you as a man. You have to come outside of yourself, and you are going to have to accommodate that woman. You have to.
Well, that's where I think, and I'm not disagreeing with you. This is why I phrase it the way I phrased it. I think that we do a bad job, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we do a bad job with the media, with propaganda, to immediately tell men that they have to, at every chance that they're exchanging space time with a woman, to give up of self as a whole.
I think that's an extreme. That is an extreme, brother. That's an extreme. No, point blank, period. Remember, to compromise means that you are not, listen, I am now, listen, watch. If I, college, you go to a dorm room, let's just say it's you and 3 other guys. You now, no matter how you live, you now have to compromise the way you live in order to fit that living space, because it's now no longer just you. Once you step into a relationship, all of that, whatever it is about you, talk that shit when you a bachelor. Talk that shit when you a nigga just out here, I'm a gigolo. That's fine. But if you stepping into a relationship, you gonna have to step outside of yourself, no matter how much your ego gets in the way. Because we are the captains of the ship, bro. But you're gonna have to know, if I'm a keeper, all of that, me just trying to be barbaric with shit, and it's just my way or the highway. Yeah, all right.
Well, see, that's what, that's again.
No, true. Hey, Gary,
yeah, okay.
No, I do hear and understand what you're saying, because I think that from a, I guess if you want to call it a psychological point, you know, compromise to a woman, they'll hear it one way, right? I think you would agree, right?
Yes.
Compromise to a man, we would hear it a different way. So Gary, I totally understand what
who is the captain of the ship? So when it comes down to the compromise,
hold on, sweetie, let me finish.
Go ahead.
So as I was saying, so when it comes to compromise, women hear it differently. Just like, you know, women hear other words differently. We could tell a woman, hey, this is, you know, I like you, let's just say. and she could hear something different, right? So all I'm just saying is that for some women to hear compromise, they're going to hear or interpret it differently than a man hearing compromise, and how we would interpret it. So I totally understand.
We know this, Gary. We know this, Gary. We know that women will interpret things. Now, watch this. As the protector, the protector, provider, and leader, it is our job to make sure that we give them the proper context behind what this compromise consists of. That is what you are supposed to put into motion before even anything. Hold on, Gary. I got you, brother. I got you, brother.
Because most men don't understand that.
Well, Gary, God damn it, don't stop a man who knows it from telling the brothers how to rock out. Listen, I'm dropping the gems. What I'm saying is this. What you talking about is this. The women will look at it a different way. The fact is, do you know how you assert the compromise? No. How you insert the disclaimers and the rules and regulations to the compromise is by you just simply standing on your morals, values, and principles, your integrities. All right. So when you talk about I'll compromise, like, for example, I'll compromise in the bedroom, but anything involving my anus, that's a no-no. So guess what? I'm not telling her, or I'm not downing her on nothing, but I'm letting you know I'm not into this in particular. I stand on that shit, and that is, and that is, so now we can compromise as far as what do you want to do? You want to do this? You want to try that? You want to watch this little love scene? You want to role play this? No problem. Do you see where I'm coming from? So when I'm talking about that compromise, if you're the captain of the ship, before y'all even get solidified, bro, you're supposed to already have that shit in motion. Why you think I talked about we need to have that talk, and it needs to not be 21 questions or an interview? That's why I said that shit from Jump Street earlier.
So you just did a roundabout of pretty much agreeing with what I was saying.
Exactly.
What do you call? No. Hold on.
If I did, then maybe I didn't get how you said it. So rock out again.
Of course. Well, you use the word, you said barbaric. And this is why I speak the way I speak. When I say men shouldn't compromise, it's supposed to do exactly what's happening right now. Because a lot of times, compromise, like Gary said, is heard and misinterpreted differently from a woman's perspective to a man's perspective. In my opinion, just in my opinion, when a man shows up to a relationship, he's already supposed to be aware of what he is capable of, what he can do, what he can handle, his capacity, where he stands, morals, outlook, perspective. That's already supposed to be solidified. That's not what happens, though. What happens is that men show up kind of like what you said, that I have to be willing and allow myself to be manipulated by this woman to please her. That's not supposed to happen. Compromise looks like, just like you said, I am allowing things to happen. Let's be clear. If a man is involving himself with a woman from Jump Street, he's already compromising, because everything about her is going to require him to have to slow down, take more time, reiterate, be patient. He's already compromising. But what women like to do is they like to take you as a whole, pick you apart, and have you compromise the very things that make you, that are working, that are progressive, that don't need to be messed with. And that's why I say men should not compromise. She needs to understand, this is me as a whole. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing. Sweetie, like you said, bedroom fun, food, cool. That's where you belong in this compromise. But at the end of the day, you can't mess with this, the mission, the purpose.
Brother, true. Brother,
leader,
true.
That's what I'm saying. But I digress.
Brother, true. Respect. All right. So with you explaining it in that dynamic, what I'm going to say is, I do get where you're coming from on that. What I'm going to say is this. When you first came, just play it back yourself when it's over with. You really had a stance position of, there is no compromise. I'm the man. And you even gave context. Yes, I was listening. You gave context, but you did not have that standpoint in the beginning. So if that is really your stance on it, I'll take you for your word, brother. No problem. No argument, no disagreement, no nothing. But all I'm saying is, I promise you, if everything that you just said now was initiated in the beginning, I'd have never said anything I said from Jump Street. I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out.
Was I misunderstood by Gary or Grace? Just because I'm always trying to work on my.
No.
Listen, brother, you got it.
No.
You got that one.
No,
Black man, you got it. I concede. Okay.
No doubt.
So,
Let's go ahead and move forward. Respect.
Let me just chime in here just on. So I've been involved in the BDSM lifestyle for about 20 years, right? And in that, you vet, right? You have something called vetting. You vet your partner, right? So there's a whole process that goes through that. It doesn't happen in a day or 2 days or even a week. It takes time. And I'm bringing this up to say that once you get to the point where this person is going to be your submissive, you go into an agreement, right? So I just want to say, when it comes to me and the women that I deal with, once I get to a certain point, there's certain things with me that's just non-negotiable, right? Just not, this is what it is, right? Because again, you as the man, you set the tone, right? You set the tone on how this relationship or dynamic is going to be. And the woman that you're dealing with has to clearly understand that. So when you do come to that point and you've, I guess, consummated, or you both agree this is what it is, then there's a clear understanding on both parties on what's expected and what's supposed to happen and how things are supposed to go down and operate it and move. So, and I think that, that's just how I deal with stuff, right? Because it's I think, True, you said a key word, right? Manipulate, right? And women really like to do that, especially if you're not paying attention, right? If you're not paying attention and you're not following, they will really try to do that, very secretly or unknowingly, right? So you have to pay attention and be aware of what's going on. So, I just wanted to put that out there. All right, Grace, I hope your sound is back on. So let's see if we can hear from you. Okay. Grace, can you?
So this is
cool.
going to bring in when you should. This is what I'm going to bring in when you should and shouldn't compromise. So True, when you first came off the rip, yeah, I kind of misunderstood you. But then when it was elaborated, you go right into when you shouldn't compromise. And this is what it says. You shouldn't compromise when core values are being compromised. It's important to make boundaries clear, that you feel strongly enough on something that's worth fighting for fairly. I get it. True is talking about the pillars of a man. I'm not going to compromise on this. I'm not going to compromise on this. And I'm not going to. And that's where Gary and Smitty says it has to be effectively communicated in the beginning, because there are just some things that are non-negotiable to a man. And it's either she's going to accept it or reject it. Okay, compromising where you want to eat, what you want to do for the weekend and stuff like that. But with Smitty's case, he's not compromising his anus. No way. You know what I'm saying? True's not compromising his phone password. He's not giving you his password to his phone because he's not compromising that. Gary is not compromising repeating himself. If he already told you something and how he's going to go, that's how he's going to go. And he don't want to hear that shit. Well, you never told me. I'm not even in relationships with y'all three men, and I already know some of y'all non-negotiable just by listening, just by conversating with you guys. But True said a very, very serious word, and I'm not gonna deny it. Women can be manipulative and talk their way and to talk men into things knowing that they're not into or don't want to do and manipulate them. But again, it's up to y'all men to stand 10 toes strong and not budge, because the one time that you budge, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Especially on those pillars, now to compromise on what you eat. I mean, if you're a vegan and she wants to go to a steakhouse, well, I'm at that restaurant. She's going to have to go to that restaurant with her girlfriends or family members. You're not going to take your man, if he's a vegan, to a steakhouse. That's just, come on. That's not may bother that person because they're a vegan, but you want to go to a steakhouse. I mean, we got to be able to compromise. So another time when we shouldn't compromise is boundaries are being violated. Compromise does not extend to boundary violations in a relationship. Being put down, spoken inappropriately, feeling harmed, your mental health, physical, and emotional safety is a first. That's most men, to me, should never accept a woman disrespecting them in public, because the first time you allow her to do that, she's going to feel like she can do it any day, anytime. And when I see that bothers me. I said, I'll be damned if a girl ever does that to my son. Because I will tell, I even told my son the first time, just the thought of her wanting to call the cops on you, you should drop her like a hot potato. You are a young African-American, you're male. And the thought of her trying to call the cops on you one time, I don't care how good that box is. If she even thought about it, she'll do it. And if she do it, she'll do it again. But that's where y'all men have to stay strong to y'all core pillar values and not compromise yourselves. True or false?
Absolutely true. True.
Okay. And then the other time you shouldn't compromise is when you're the only one compromising. A relationship where only one person makes all the compromising is an unhealthy dynamic. If you're the only one making compromises, both big and small, it may be time to reevaluate your relationship on both ends. If a man is happy wife, happy life concept and always making his wife happy, but he out here miserable, kicking the dog, yelling at the kids for no reason, taking it out on coworkers, then you know what? It's not working. It's not fair. Women need to be more fair. Women need to be more able to give and take. It's not always about us. Like, I remember when I was planning my wedding, I made sure that I included, he's my ex now, but I included him in every step of the way of planning our wedding. He hated it, but I kept trying to explain to him, this is your day too. I want you to have a good memory. We have to go pick out the cake. We have to go pick out the food. We have to go pick out certain things because you're going to be enjoying it. It's not just about me that day. He hated it, but he came anyway, and he was like, damn, I'm glad I picked this food. This cake good. You know what I'm saying? It's like, even with that, women are so selfish. They think that they're the only ones getting married. There's a husband there too getting married, ladies. You know, that's why you're having a wedding, because he asked you to get married. But, we think so one-sided. It's crazy to me. I don't know what makes me so different. I don't know why that I don't walk around with this self-entitlement. Can I be a spoiled brat sometimes? Absolutely.
Your dad.
You know what I'm saying? When I was younger.
But Grace, look at, what you were saying in regards to marriage. So ever since we've been growing up, or we've always seen, the marriage is marketed toward women, to women. The diamond engagement ring, the wedding dress, the ceremony, all of that is marketed to women. It's like the man is just standing there as being the groom, right? So it's basically a woman's event, and a lot of women, right? And there are many women out there that they think about or fantasize or dream about the day that they're going to get married. You know, they have their wedding dress, how the wedding is going to go. So most men, you know, they don't think like that. It's like, okay, if I meet the right woman, I definitely want to marry her and she's going to be wifey. But women want you know, they think about the whole bells and whistles and, you know, all the emotion and stuff that go with it. You know, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm just saying that marriage is marketed toward, it's been marketed toward women, you know, for ages.
You're right.
I would say this.
And it's sad. That's why I'm saying it's sad.
My bad. Oh, okay. Nah, I would say this. I would say a relationship that doesn't have compromise on either end is something that has shifted from a relationship to a dictatorship. You know, I don't think most of us sign up to be in a dictatorship, right? Because the fact is, what compromise really calls for and brings about is both parties having some form of a say on certain aspects and certain, you know, spectrums of the relationship. And if it's like it's just my way or the highway on the man's part or the woman's part, right? Then that's not a relationship. That's a dictatorship. And I don't know anybody who truly knows that I have something to offer. I have true value. I have something to make as an addition to what it is that is here and what it is that I'm involved in. And if I'm not able to give my perspective, give my input and things of that nature, whatever it may be, finances and all of that, then I would say that right there is something that will be very detrimental to a relationship, considering both parties actually want to be a contributing factor to the relationship. Now, if you got one wants to do that, the other's a leech, then that might work out. But other than that, I digress. My mic is muted. What you got, True? What you got? I don't know. Let's just rock out. Yep. Don't be confused. It didn't happen. Let's keep on going.
No, just and I get it. You know, but I do my best, which is why I asked if I was coming through clearly, because I continue to develop, you know, deliver my points effectively. But I have found that sometimes, you know, building an argument, I like to build them in a way that creates dialogue. That's to be effective. I'm very aware. I've been in several relationships that there is a point, especially being a man, that involving yourself with a woman requires things of you that you could do without a lot of times. You know, patience, empathy. Gosh, the list goes on. So I'm very aware of how compromise functions, works, and looks. You know, and like you said, to your point, you don't want to ever create a dynamic where you're dictating to that woman, because nobody would want to be, you know, a part of an equation like that. That would be not loving. That would be unfair. So I'm aware of that. What I was speaking more to is the fact that I interact with a lot of males who think they're men, and their mindset has been conditioned based on big media and their family, that you as the man under every circumstance is supposed to sacrifice your true value, position, character, work ethic. Well, I mean, and I know men on this panel could probably, whether it's been personal or observed experience, where a woman will get with a man that may be a little bit more ambitious than she is capable of handling. So her comfort level may be to request you take more time off, or request that you don't take that meeting, or whatever it may be. And her intent is not to hurt you. Her intent is to not even destroy the progress. She is simply thinking about her own selfishness, her own desires, what she would prefer, not understanding the need of what you're doing. And there is where I'm saying a man should never compromise. That is something he has to stand on and be able to convey to his woman, hey, look, I know what you want. I'm working on something. You know, this is what it's been, babe. Whatever the verbiage you're going to use. Because it's quite natural for most women to want to, how I put, slow a man down, not in a bad way, but that's just how they're wired. You know, they don't understand all of the components to things and why you're doing what you're doing and why it takes this. I mean, I got too many stories, but I digress. My mic is muted.
Gotcha. Totally agree.
Okay, so I spoke of why we shouldn't compromise, but then these are the times when we should compromise. We can sometimes, as when the issue is important to your partner and feel strongly about something and is insisting that it's important to them, it may be time to compromise, accommodate them, especially true if it doesn't infringe on your core beliefs and values. So this is where I think we got our little wires crossed, and Smitty and you guys, you know, talked it out. And if it doesn't infringe on your core values and your beliefs, then you're okay with compromising, and we're okay with that. The compromise has to be fair. It has to be reasonable to compromise that accommodates both your preferences. Operative word, both. Compromising takes both, okay? A relationship is balanced. A healthy relationship is where both partners are considerate of each other's needs and preferences. Making compromise to accommodate each other can help you and your partner grow closer together and strengthen the bond between the two of you. Yes, it's important to stick to your core beliefs and your pillars, but it also is important to compromise, because again, we can't have that mindset of it's my way or the highway. And a lot of men and women walk around with that mindset, and it's just, you got to wonder why your relationship hasn't worked. It's not going to happen, and it's not going to work.
I got a question, Grace.
Absolutely not.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is funny, right? So I really want to ask, all right, Grace, you can get your response, but I really want True and Gary's response on this. Just this, man, because this is a true story, right? So some years back, one of my homies, man, like we just talking, and it was one of those, you know, we kicking the shit moments. And so he busts out, he like, yeah, man, because, man, I don't know what to do. Like, my birthday coming up, and his girl was going to go ahead and I guess give him his first threesome, right, for his birthday, him and two girls. So she was going to invite, I guess, one of her homegirls, right? And she was going to do that for his birthday. But he like, so the dilemma, so I'm like, man, what's the issue? He like, cuz. She like, but she like, for her birthday, she want me to get like one of my good mans. And we gotta reverse that. So I'm just, yeah, that's why I said I want to know, like, True and Gary, like, if you was in my homeboy's position and your girl said that to you, considering she gonna give you a real good threesome for your birthday with one of her homegirls you probably had your eye on, but she wants the same in return with one of your homeboys that she probably has had her eye on. How do you respond to that?
You want to go first, True, or me?
I'm out of this one.
All right, so listen, all right, you know, with a situation like that, first of all, because I can relate to a situation because I you know, most of the women that I've dated are bisexual women. So But in his situation, if she's doing something like this just to please me, then that's not going to work, right? That's not going to work. I would rather know, and clearly I would have known ahead of time, one, if she's really bisexual, and if there's going to be a dynamic, it's going to be me, her, and I guess if we have a girlfriend. But in his case, it sounds like, it sounds like what some of these other women talk about. Well, if I do this for you, then I want you to do it for me, right? And so that is something that I guess if I was him, there would have been a different conversation before it even got to that. So let me say that.
She's single. She's single. She's single. We ain't got no more to further discussion from that introduction, and I'm gonna tell you why. But
hold on, before you go into it, True. The whole point of that story is compromise. What she was trying to make my boy, I guess, believe is that that's the compromise, not even like the terms of agreement. Let's compromise. You want your fantasy? I want mine. You want 2 women? I want 2 men.
But that's problematic for so many reasons, and this is why I have core beliefs on things. Like, I firmly believe a relationship is not a woman's relationship; it's the man's relationship, which I can go into that another time. And the reason why I believe that is because we are always in a position of presenting the relationship, right? So if I'm trusting in the ability of the man, he should have already figured out what this relationship in his mind looks like, what kind of woman he's going to vet, pursue, and all these things. If I have a woman in my life, there's under no circumstances that she would assume and think that each exchange between me and her is exactly equal. It's just an impossible thing. If that is true compromise, as you're saying, Smitty, then that would mean that our relationship now is truly 50-50, which is impossible to do. This means that if we're going to keep it sexual, that means if I'm giving you 85 strokes, you got to give me 85 strokes. If I'm going to, serve you so much amount of food.
Hold on, wait a minute. Pause. Where those 85 strokes going with you?
You know what I mean? You know what I mean, bro. Pause. Not on that. Stop it. You know what I mean? The strokes
I had to check with you. I just had to check in with you.
You're a fool.
I had to check with you.
But I think that a woman who has that mindset and truly tries to measure equality is already problematic. That's just problematic. If that's what he wanted to do, all respect to him. But it should under no circumstances in her standard or character should have just been, you know what, babe, I'm not trying to open our relationship like that. And then either deaded it or moved on. But to have now, well, I'm going to give you what you want if you give me what I want. Well, that speaks more volumes to what's going on with that woman. And I would have concerns.
Well, okay. So I'm going to give you what the typical response would be. Well, True, you being selfish. So I'm just supposed to give you your fantasy, but I can't have mine? Your response?
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, it's never an equal exchange. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. I think something that happened in modern time where we really have convinced women that this exchange is equal. It is not equal. We are completely different in what we bring to the proverbial table. That's just what it is.
All right,
just
go ahead. Let me chime in here. I think that, like, I know in my experience, the women that I've dealt with are bisexual women. So, and I've always had women that they only wanted me as the only man, right? They wanted, in a few cases, because the ex found out that they were bi and they couldn't have their girl time. All they wanted to do was have their girl time. But you know, when it came to me now, it's like I understood that. I'm like, okay, you know, we could do this. But they're like, well, I don't want to share you. Like, I'm not. I don't want to. I want you to be the only man, right? But I want to be able to have my girl time too, or we could have our girl time too.
Gary, you fell for that shit.
Works.
You hold on, wait, hold on, wait a minute.
What?
Gary, you fell for that shit. You didn't.
I felt for what?
Everything that you just said, I decoded it instantly.
What do you mean you decoded it?
As you were speaking,
right?
On surface level, face value, what's being heard is, man, I deal with women that like women, and I'm having fun swimming in women. No, sir. What you were was just they're basically let's just say live human-sized version vibrator in a sense. Bruh, like
all right, bro,
listen, hear me.
That's what you want to believe.
No, Gary, hear me. Now. Some men don't mind that, but all I'm saying is don't get it twisted. These women that attract to you, listen, those women that call themselves bisexual, meaning I like to deal with girls. If they do, they do. Hey, I like to watch it. Okay. All right. So hey, look, I ain't mad at you. But I'm just saying, they like to deal with women. What they're making clear to you is on the side, here and there, if I have a taste for some D, I'll call you during breakfast. That's it. Nothing more. So all I'm saying is, if you're willing to be in that circumstance, knowing honestly, you hold no true value and or weight in that circumstance and or situation. You are literally something that they just pull out of the drawer.
Yeah,
I swear on that's it. Now, if you're good with that, because you getting it that way, a lot of dudes ain't getting it. Hey, Gary, be that vibrator, my G. Make they thighs shake. Make they thighs shake, my nigga. Rock out.
What I'm saying to you is that with some of the women that I've dated, right, and it's been a great relationship. They wanted to have their girl time, but I'm the only guy, and that's cool. And it worked fine. So it was nothing crazy or out of the ordinary or anything like that. So I mean, everybody has different sexual.
Have you ever been passed around, Gary? Have you ever been anywhere where it was you and there was multiple women and somehow or another you were passed around? If so, listen, I'm gonna give you a shout out, my nigga.
Nah,
I'm just asking a question. Have you ever been passed around?
Nah, it don't work like it.
You need to step your game up, Gary. You need to get to the point where you are passed around. Damn it.
That's a lifestyle, Smitty.
Okay, fine. I just went somewhere else.
That's a lifestyle, and we're gonna go into a show like that, different lifestyles and sex situations.
I mean, Gary was making it sound like he had it going on, though. I mean, I was,
what I said is that in my experience and the women that I've dated, I primarily date women that are bisexual, and
how
it
do you
has
come
happened
now.
Hold on, and it has happened where they've only wanted me as obviously me as the only guy, right? And they want to have their girl time, right? And so the dynamic is we could have a girlfriend whenever we want to, or whenever she want to have her girl time, she could do it. So and that was fine. So and that's how, and it wasn't a problem.
Let me ask you this: when she was saying she wants to have her girl time, and you said that's okay, I'm just asking because this is what I will see as. Okay, it is what it is. When she would want to go have her girl time, and you said that was okay. If you decided to step off and have your dude girl time, was that okay with her?
But I don't do that. See?
God damn it, Gary. Okay.
Well, see, no, you're missing the point.
We're done here, sir. Sir,
right,
we're done here. We're done here. Nah, Gary.
Bro. Okay,
Gary.
Grace.
I gotta pull you up on that, Gary. Like, Gary, that's crazy.
What are you talking about, bro? Like, clearly you're not getting what I'm saying, but Grace, go.
No, I do get it. You just said if she want to step off while y'all in a relationship and go have some and go eat some
You're
boxes
missing the
and
point.
have fun, she can do
You
that.
are completely missing the
if
point.
you-
But okay, I'll take it as you're completely missing the point. Grace, okay, you can.
I asked specific questions and you answer them directly. What did I miss?
Okay. So what
did I miss from answers directly answered by you? I'm sorry, Grace. It's crazy as shit, Gary.
Okay. So with that being said, I got one more aspect to cover on compromise. When to get comfortable with compromising. If you and your partner are learning to compromise with one another, here are some steps that can help you get more comfortable with it. One, having the real conversation respectfully. Have the combo no matter how uncomfortable it may be. You have to talk about things. You have to effectively communicate. The first step is to have a calm and respectful discussion with your partner. Each of you should express your feelings and viewpoint without interruption. Tell your partner what you are thinking, wanting, and expecting. Explain to your partner why it's important. And you, as the other person, listen. Listen, Linda, what they have to say. Because again, it's not all about y'all. I was gonna curse there, and I'm trying not to. It's not all about y'all women. Acknowledge each other's feelings. Each partner should acknowledge what they heard, what their partner said, and why it's important to them. Even if you don't agree, it's okay not to agree, but at least acknowledge their feelings. This one is for y'all men. Acknowledge their feelings and help them feel. It helps them feel heard and seen. Okay, you men may not compromise on certain things, but at least acknowledge the feelings and what that lady is saying. And this is for the ladies mostly, be willing to give and take. It's important to be willing to reciprocate. Keep an open mind and be flexible. Only wanting things your way is not conducive to a healthy and happy relationship. This my way or the highway mindset is for the birds. And men are not having it anymore. They are starting to open their eyes. They are starting to realize their worth. They are starting to become more established. And they are starting to get passports. Easy. That's it. Look for solutions together. Work with your partner to find a solution together. Discuss pros and cons and choose the option that works best for the both of you and the relationship. It's not just about him. It's not just about you. It's about the relationship. This may mean doing things your way and their way and finding another option. And at the end of the day, if you find yourselves, hold on, there's more. Making compromising lovingly. Remember that compromise is a loving gesture, not a punishment or a sacrifice. If you're the one compromising on something, do it graceful. Don't do it with an attitude. Don't do it because you feel you lost an argument. Do it because you want it for the betterment of the relationship. Appreciate your partner's the fact that he or she is compromising. If your partner is compromising on something for you, be mindful and appreciative of that. And avoid reacting emotionally. You may get angry or upset if things don't go your way, which can only make things worse. If you can't reach an agreement right away, feel yourself getting frustrated, take a moment, step back, pause, and think before you react. And just take some time to evaluate your priorities. And lastly, but certainly not least, if you find you and your partner often struggling with conflict and unable to compromise, then it may be time and helpful to get couples therapy. A couples therapist can help you talk things through with your issues and find solutions together. So that is really what I have to say about compromising. I'm learning a lot about compromising right now as we speak, gentlemen. because this show idea actually came about with me and my gentleman friend having a conversation, and he was telling me it's all about compromising, and I said, okay, that's a show right there, because I have been learning to compromise on things that I usually didn't even think that it was compromisable. I don't know if that's a word, but at the end of the day, if you want that relationship, if you want to be with that person, you got to be able to step back and consider that other person, because again, it's not about us. And I'm really touching to the women, because again, like Smitty said, and I love what he said, men will make the adjustments, but some women won't budge. It's my way or the highway. His money is my money. I mean, y'all walk around with a happy wife, happy life. Look how y'all really walking around and thinking that this is okay for men to accept. It's happy spouse, happy house. If y'all want to take it even further, it's happy king, happy kingdom. Because at the end of the day, the chain of command, it's a chain of command that we must follow. The children belong to the women belong to the men belong to God. Men was here before women. We will never be equal to a man. And the sooner us ladies understand that, the sooner we can have healthy, happy, loving relationships. So with that being said, gentlemen, we're going to get into our final thought. We've beat this dead horse long enough, because it's either in somebody or it's not in somebody to compromise. And I really do think that it has a lot to do on how we feel about the person and how serious we are about the person. If we're serious about that person and our feelings are genuine about that person, compromising should come naturally, should be okay. But with that being said, I am going to go ahead and go into final thoughts. We're going to go around the room and I'll finish last. Gary, go ahead and tell me what you have to say about compromise, what we talked about tonight, and anything you have to add. Big things coming up September 8th. Go ahead, Gary.
It was a good show, great spirited discussion. At the end of the day, I mean, listen, you got to be able to have effective communication before you could really get into compromising with your partner. Once you establish effective communication, then compromising should fall into place, and it shouldn't be a problem, right? I'm Gary D. With Boardwalk Global Media, we have we have about 7 podcasts. Our show is coming back Friday, September 8th, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's called The Real Discussion. You could find us on all the streaming platforms. You could find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, either Boardwalk Global Media or The Real Discussion.
And Gary, thank you for coming today. You was surely missed last week, and I appreciate you. Smitty, my guy, go ahead and give me your final thoughts. It was a good conversation tonight. It's necessary. What do you have to say? What say you?
I would say compromise is really structured and based around communication. Without the communication being effective and solidified, to make sure that, because the communication is that bridge for the compromise, then I don't think that compromise would even be had. So always remember that you do need to have that talk. And it may be a little uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Because I don't think anything that's worth having in your life was comfortable. And I'll end it on this, ladies. I would say birth. I don't know too many women at all, really none, that
aren't so happy to be mothers, but I know that they all have said having birth for the most part wasn't comfortable. So you was going through a change in order to have that joy that you have today. It was uncomfortable while you were sweating and pushing out, but that's all over with. That change that was taking place is now done. So now you can just bask in that joy and what you have. So with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. Rocker.
Where can we find you, Smitty? Where you at?
Oh, my bad. You can find me at just go to IG, County King. Do live panels every Wednesday. Always have different guests popping up, and always different discussions. So you can type that in. Let me see. County King IG. Type in County King, no spaces. Type in County with a K. If you pull up, I'll pull you up. So, you know. And other than that, you can catch me here every Thursday with Grace on Embrace the Grace. And you can also catch me on Smitty's Corner on YouTube. So with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out. Grace, thank you so much for having me once again. True. And Gary, salute, my brother. Salute.
Thank you for coming, Smitty. Okay, True. You always bringing true gems to the table. And I really, really enjoy when you come on because you're the younger generation. And you're the age group that the old heads are trying to reach out. And the fact that you come up here with your mindset, yeah, because we are considered the old heads. You're a young head. And the fact that you have this mindset, if you could change the mindset of one young man or change the perspective of one young lady, then we've accomplished our goal. And that's why I enjoy you so much, because you're very smart, articulate, and intelligent for your age. And that's because you've been exposed. He's in his 30s, right? You're in your 30s. You know, we hit an AARP age, Gary. So you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and give me your final thought.
Well, yeah, no, definitely great discussion. I'm sad I missed the beginning of it, but I'm glad I caught the butt end of it. Compromise definitely is a necessary component. I think that just learning how to navigate it correctly, you know, really having men understand how important it is to have core beliefs, to have things that you stand on, because in a relationship, it will be tested. So you need to know where you stand. You need to know where you're trying to go and be able to convey that effectively and correctly. And simultaneously, she'll respect you for it. And the relationship could be great, could be awesome. And don't let them get you all twisted and thinking that you're supposed to change the entirety of yourself. No, that is not compromise, sir. I'm gonna stand on that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but thank you for having me up, Grace. Always a pleasure. I'm loving to see your growth. You're doing your thing. So I appreciate it. You can find me on YouTube, same first name, same last name. I'm on IG. I've been posting a lot more lately, going live, trying to get the message out there. So you feel I'm worthy of your support. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Then yeah, find me there. But other than that, I'm here when Grace needs me. So you guys be easy. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you for coming. Okay, so my final thoughts. Compromising is an important skill in a relationship, whether it's in a marriage, friendship, family, co-workers, etc., etc. It helps find a middle ground and resolve conflicts. This my way or the highway attitude doesn't fly. And I know I get on the ladies a lot, and as I should, because the majority of you women walk around with a sense of entitlement, selfishness, and my it don't stink attitude. And just because you have a vagina, you think you are the it. But remember, we're outnumbered, ladies. For every BS you're not willing to do, the next female will. There's 10 women in that man's DM, ready and willing and able to compromise. So embrace the art of uncompromising, work on it, be willing to do it, be open-minded to it. And as far as where you can find me, you can definitely find Embrace the Grace on YouTube. You can find me on the JVJ Network on Thursday nights. You'll find me on Boardwalk Global Media on Friday nights. I will be on guests on different panels. I am on IG, TikTok, Facebook, all over the place. Feel free to email me. I love when you guys email me show ideas, comments, concerns. I love it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. If you like what you heard tonight, definitely donate to the channel. Embrace the Grace 23. Gary, True Table, and Smitty, I appreciate you once again coming through. This couldn't have been possible without you guys. I love the fact that you have embraced me, and I really appreciate that. Especially you, Gary. You've been the A1. Smitty's right up there with me. And thank you very much, Craig. It was a pleasure to see you. I'm glad that you hung in there for the whole show. This is what I've been doing lately. I'm glad that you came to check me out. Wally, JVJ, everybody who's came up here. I really appreciate you guys. Have an awesome weekend. Peace. See you guys next Thursday. Bye, Gary. Appreciate y'all coming out. Really do. Really, really, really do. I'm gonna see if I can do my the outro if I can find it. Of course I can't find it right now because I need it, you know, because that's how things work around here. Let's see. Where's the outro? Here we go. Bye guys.